Learning is a weightless treasure that you can always carry easily. As an organization, ardent to embellish the students with expertise and knowledge relating to the energy industry, UPS FIPS Student Chapter presents you OILT, a video talk series where our experienced alumni and industry delegates who excelled in the fields of technology, engineering, and management will be featured as speakers in short video clips describing their experiences related to the oil and gas industry, recreating a link between the university and corporate lifestyle and challenges to nurture the passion. So here today we are having James Crompton with us, who has worked with Chevron in past few years and now working as adjunct professor in Colorado of Mines University. So my first question to sir is that how does the quantity and the amount of data availability affect the operations on the field?
Well, I think that it's not just the amount of data that's available, and that has certainly grown a great deal, particularly over the last 2 decades. But it's what you do with that data that affects operations. There's it's the big data analytics is, part of it's volume of data, but part of it is the building of predictive models that allow you to gain greater insight. So yes, there's a degree of benefit from automation when data can go into control systems, and then you can maybe operate more efficiently at a lower cost with fewer people. That's kind of the value of automation. But the value of analytics, when you can take the data and you can build up a predictive model, and you'll be able to gain greater insight into what is going on and how to prevent problems from happening. Automation kind of catches problems as they happen, but the analytics will allow you to recognize the conditions that cause incidents, equipment failure, decline in the wellhead, whatever. And that's even better. That's even greater value, because you can do something before the incident to make, like insurance policy, make sure it never happens, and to keep the equipment running and skip out on all that non-productive time that happens in the field.
Do you have any comments on the quality of the data?
It varies dramatically, and it continues to be one of our big challenges. Sensors that are on equipment or sensors that are downhole are notoriously noisy, and they have problems with failure, which is why we tend to attack that problem with having lots of sensors, knowing that some of them will fail. But data quality is a persistent issue, and when you record lots of data, you can do some data processing, and you can begin to kind of smooth out some of the errors. There's certainly ways that you can correct some mistakes or some noise, through processing theory and stuff, signal processing theory. But data quality is always something you have to watch out for. If you have a single critical sensor that's not behaving well, that false set of information can throw off your model, throw off automation, and cause harm, not value.
My last question to you is that how digital field has evolved and what actually digital worker is.
Well, if you go back as far as I do, in the 1970s, when I joined the oil and gas industry, an awful lot of the processes were paper-based. Seismic data might have been one that was first digital in the 1960s and 70s. Petrophysics with well log analysis was digital early, but it's really only been to the last 15, 20 years that an awful lot of the data from drilling, production, has become digitally the data that you can work with. But when I first started with the industry, I started with a drafting table. I hand plotted data values. I hand contoured data values. And essentially there was a traditional drafting department, not a computer department that I got a lot of support from, because all of the work there was, it was lengthy. Certainly the time it took to make interpretations, et cetera, was much longer than it is today. But it has moved over time increasingly function by function to become more digital from analog, to become more computer-based rather than paper-based. And the connectivity of the ability to collaborate, not only just with your peers in the same company, but with service companies, with other partners around the world. Like we're having an interview today, 11 and a half hours time zone differences. That kind of collaboration was not possible until all of the connectivity and the digitization happened.
Thank you so much, sir.
You're welcome. I appreciate the opportunity.